In many countries, buying houses and apartments and then renting them out has become very popular. This buy-to-let boom has been fueled in part by generally strong growth in the value of residential property. But we shouldn't let that blind us to the risks involved.
There's very good reasons to own your own home. Whether or not they make a great investment is a different question. I think a lot of people who invest in homes are often underestimating the risks involved in this and the true costs that come with it compared to investing in the stock market, for instance. For most people, house purchases involve a mortgage, meaning they are essentially a leveraged buy. And that means that if the price of that asset were to fall, and the UK, US, all these countries have got a history of property bubbles that burst at some point. If the property bubble were to burst, you don't owe your bank any less money. You're still liable for the amount that you borrowed. So this negative equity then becomes a real drag on your lifestyle going forward.
As with any financial investment, it's very important to look at the ongoing income you can expect to receive from it. Ask yourself, what kind of rent can I realistically expect to receive for a particular buy-to-let property? And does that level of income justify the asking price?
If the rental income justifies the investment, buy-to-let can be a wonderful way of investing money. Also a very helpful way for the economy because you are providing some space to live for people who often are younger, whether students or young professionals or are individuals who may be at the moment priced out of the market, who otherwise would find it very difficult to be able to afford somewhere to live.
Remember, if you already own or have a mortgage on the house you currently live in, you're already exposed to the housing market. Too much exposure can be very risky.
Even most very large buy-to-let investors will only own a small number of homes, and that means that you may own your own home, you may own a couple of properties that are bought on a buy-to-let basis, but that makes you extremely exposed to faults in the property market. It means you might lose some of the value of your own home, as well as the value of your buy-to-let property might go down. If you were a stock market investor and you'd had approached a professional advisor, and that advisor would have told you to put perhaps £1 million into 3 stocks, you're very likely to be able to take legal recourse against such an advisor because they would have really under-diversified you massively and left you hugely exposed to risk and the fluctuations of your assets. But that's sadly the way that a lot of buy-to-let and a lot of property investors approach their investments, which is to remain very undiversified and therefore very risk exposed.
And one final thing, many buy-to-let investors underestimate what might be called the hassle factor, dealing with difficult tenants, for example, or the ongoing maintenance that every property requires. Buying property with a view to renting it out is a decision that's not to be taken lightly.